So if you own an 07 to 18 Silverado and you want to be like a lot of other guys and gals and put on bigger wheels and tires, you will inevitably run into a problem, and that is your speedometer. It is going to be off calibration. It's not going to display your speed correctly. Now, it gets worse the bigger you go with those wheels and tires, but a really great convenient way to fix that is with something like this. This is the Superchips Flash Cal calibration tool, and it is specifically designed for the 07 to 18 Silverado, which I think is a great thing compared to those cheaper universal calibration and diagnostic tools. I really like the Flash Cal for a couple of reasons. This is already set up specifically for the 07 to 18's ECU, which means you don't have to do any programming, any coding like you might have to do with one of those universal tools. It's already set up for the ECU in this truck. So if you ever have any issues with calibrating things, or if you ever want to read and clear trouble codes or do any diagnostics or data logging, this device is already set up for you. I can actually speak to how useful these things are over time, even if you keep your truck stock and you don't need to calibrate anything. This is a great way to save some money when you do run into mechanical issues. I say that because most of the time when you have any sort of problem with these newer vehicles, you're going to get a check engine light. And those check engine lights do throw codes, but they can sometimes be a little bit difficult to figure out where it's coming from. I have actually used a Superchips calibration tool like this to figure out that I had some bad O2 sensors and some bad injectors in my vehicle. Now, if I would have brought my vehicle to the dealership or the shop down the road, they probably would have charged me at least an hour for labor. So honestly, if you run into issues like that for your truck, this will definitely pay for itself over time. We're going to actually show you how this calibration tool works. I'm going to go over all the features on the device, and I'm going to actually show you how you can calibrate your truck based on those bigger wheels and tires, or if you do re-gear your truck. So if you like everything I'm saying here, stick around and let's get started. So using the Flash Cal is very straightforward. It already has the OBD2 cable connected to the device, so all you gotta do is plug it into the OBD2 port on your Silverado, which you'll find underneath the steering column down here. Once the Flash Cal is plugged in, all you gotta do is put your key in the ignition, turn it to the on position, and then we can go over all the features and how to calibrate your truck. Now that we got our Flash Cal plugged in and our key turned to the on position, we see the home screen for the Flash Cal, which is our options. The options section is where you're actually going to do all of your calibrating and modifying your truck's parameters. Like I mentioned earlier, if you decide to re-gear your truck or put on bigger tire sizes. So let's go ahead and show you how to do that. Go ahead and click the OK button on the center of the device. And it's going to bring you to all the available options here. Now, you see you can adjust your speed limiter to the stock value or the raised value. The raised value, we're not entirely sure what it brings it up to, but it is going to be higher than what your original speed limiter is. If you want to raise that value, go ahead and click OK, and it's going to give you a little confirmation letting you know that you are doing so at your own risk. If you want to keep that raised value, click OK to confirm. The next piece here, the one that you're probably interested in, are gear ratio and tire size. These are very easy to do. If you re-gear your truck, you can go ahead and select the new gear size that you elected for. Once you select the new gear size, we're gonna go with 373s. It's gonna bring you back to the options menu. Let's say you put bigger tires on your Silverado as well. Very simple. You can select the tire size and it gets very accurate down to 1/4 of an inch. We're gonna go ahead and say that we put a front lift kit on ours, leveling kit rather, and we're going with 33s. The next piece, this is something that a lot of guys and gals don't like. The Silverado has active fuel management, also known as displacement on demand. Basically what this does is it turns your V8 into a little inline-4 motor by turning off half the cylinders when you're cruising around. It can save you some fuel economy, but you will lose power while it is running in displacement on demand mode. So if you want to disable it, all you gotta do is select disabled. Now, another thing that might annoy you, yes, TPMS sensors are nice for checking your tire pressure, but sometimes they can get a little finicky. If you want to make sure that yours don't turn on when your tire pressure gets just a tiny bit low, you can set the threshold for how low it will go before it gives you that warning light. 35 is the stock value. We can go ahead and lower it down to 30. And we can do the same for the front and rear. It's just gonna give you this little attention screen here, making sure that you are aware of exactly what you are modifying. Now, once you've made all the adjustments that you want to do to your truck, go ahead and click Continue. At this point, the Flash Cal is modifying the ECU, and it is creating not quite a tune, but sort of a preloaded profile for the ECU to run off of. Once it builds that file, it's going to ask to confirm that you want to install those modified options to your ECU. Go ahead and click OK. Now, at this point, the Flash Cal is updating your ECU with those new parameters. At this point, it is very important that you leave the Flash Cal plugged in and you keep the key in the on position. If you disconnect the Flash Cal during this process, you could end up with some issues with your ECU. Now, once you've uploaded those parameters and the Flash Cal has finished installing all those parameters to the ECU, it's going to ask you to turn your ignition off. Go ahead and do so and click OK. Now, once the Flash Cal has finally finished everything, it's going to give you this little confirmation screen. It's going to let you know that those modified options have been installed. You go ahead and click OK to continue. And that's really all you have to do if you want to calibrate any of those available parameters for your truck. Certainly works pretty quickly and it's very user-friendly. We're going to go ahead and show you some of the other options available now. So all in all, calibrating your truck is very straightforward, easy to do, and it really doesn't take a whole lot of time. As you saw just then, it really only took us less than 5 minutes to make all those different changes. But what's really nice about the Flash Cal, besides the calibrating options, is the ability to scan trouble codes, clear trouble codes, and diagnose your truck based on the gauges and data logging. So let's go ahead and go over that real quick. Now, under the Scan and Diagnostics screen, you have all those available options. First option is reading and clearing those diagnostic trouble codes, more commonly known as those annoying check engine lights. If you do have one pop up, all you got to do is click OK and go ahead and select Read DTCs. It's going to ask you to confirm that your ignition is on. Go ahead and click OK. And it's going to pull all the information from that check engine light. It's going to let you know if you have one or more codes, and it's going to tell you exactly what those codes are so you can do some research. Our truck is running just fine, obviously, so we don't actually have any codes to display, but if you did, they'd be right here in the center of the screen. Now, if you've done your diagnostics, you know what trouble code you have, you can actually clear it and turn off that check engine light. To do that, all you got to do is select Clear DTCs and click OK. Now again, ours didn't have any, so it pretty much did that instantaneously. But again, if you do have those trouble codes, it's going to turn all those lights off for you. Next up are gauges and data logging. This is also another great diagnostic tool because if you have a strange trouble code and you're not sure exactly what might be causing it, you can monitor all the different parameters that the ECU controls while your truck is on. You can select up to 8 PIDs, or basically 8 gauges within the different groups, and that's going to allow you to monitor your truck's performance in real time. So we'll go ahead and show you how to build some of those options here. You can go into Engine and you can select all these different options here. We're going to go ahead and select engine coolant temperature. Let's assume that our truck is having some sort of overheating issue. You can also go ahead and select our estimated engine oil temperature. And if we want to select any other parameters from the different groups, we go ahead and click the left arrow to go back, and we can select all those other options. Let's go ahead and find some other intake air temperature setting. Let's go ahead and go into air intake, and we can actually monitor our air temperature as well. And for good measure, we're also going to monitor the air temperature in the cylinder heads themselves. Under miscellaneous non-engine, we can also monitor other things related to our cooling system. For example, we can see what our electric fan is doing, we can see when it's actually turning on, and we can figure out the speed of the fan that it's running at versus what the desired speed is. Now at this point, we have actually selected 8 gauges. Once you select 8 gauges to view, it's going to pop up with this little attention screen. Go ahead and click OK to start data logging. Now, as you can see, these are the 8 gauges that we selected earlier, and it's going to provide all this information in real time while your truck is running. When you're done data logging and you're done viewing these gauges, click the left arrow to go back. and go ahead and click the left arrow again, and that's gonna bring you out of your gauges and your data logging screen. So it's pretty easy to get in there and get back out and make changes on the fly. Other nice little feature here, you have your battery voltage. Most trucks do have a battery voltage meter, but if yours does not, you can actually view it on the Flash Cal here as well. And besides scanning and diagnostics, it'll also provide you some basic vehicle information and information about the Flash Cal itself. Let's go ahead and click OK, and we can see our vehicle info here. If your truck does have a tune of any sort, it will tell you on the tuning level option right there, and it's also a nice way to grab the VIN number for your truck as well. And then lastly, device info. It's going to tell you the SKU for the device if you ever need to talk to Superchips customer service. It's also going to give you the software information for the Superchips if you ever need to update the device for some reason. So as you can see, the Flash Cal is a very easy to use and convenient calibration and diagnostic tool specifically designed for the 07-18 Silverado. I'm Travis, thanks for watching, and for all things Chevy, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.